For over half a century, humans have endeavored to make business a force for good. But is the movement working? Or is it time to explore a new path forward? Welcome to Less Talk, More Action. We are your hosts, Joel Cesare and Owen Barrett, experts in clean energy, net zero real estate, decarbonization, and entrepreneurship. In each episode, we ask provocative questions and share stories from the front lines of sustainability with leaders in science, tech, and business taking real action to design a cleaner, better future. Thanks for joining the conversation. Now, let's get to work. Welcome to Less Talk, More Action podcast. My name is Joel Cesare, the world's undisputed voice of building decarbonization. Joining me as always is Owen Barrett, founder and CEO of America's fastest growing solar company. Today's guest is nobody. We're doing a show without a guest, just the two of us talking about the industry, what we're working on, stories from the front lines, some reflections on IMN, which you didn't get to weigh in on yet. So we're going to dive right in here. Owen Barrett, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Joel.
You know, I'll start with so we're going to do three things today to let our audience know what's going on. One, it's been a couple weeks. We took a couple weeks off, so it's nice. We're refreshed, coming back strong. I did a solo episode without you where I got to reflect a little bit on my perspective of the IMN ESG and Decarbonizing Real Estate Forum. We both attended in Dana Point, California last month, so we'll give you a chance to reflect. Then we're going to talk stories from the front lines. I think it's an ongoing segment people like to hear what's happening with the work we both do, try to decarbonize real estate and add value to some of the world's largest commercial real estate portfolios. And then we'll end with something we're calling AI Corner. We're just talking about how we're using AI, what the status of AI is, and make fun of all the doomers who are trying to stop data centers. So what do you think?
It's going to be the best one yet.
Well, so before you go into IMN, let me just tell a story. I don't think you were there. It was at that happy hour where you and I were hanging out, and some guy came up to me. I won't name names. I know you want me to name names, but he came up to me and goes, he started the conversation like, "Are you Joel Cesare?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Where do you get off calling yourself the undisputed voice of building decarbonization?" I thought he was joking, really, and then I could tell, oh, this guy's serious. It's like,
was he serious?
Man, he was kind of serious. I was like, well, you know, I you know me. It was happy hour. I was after a long day. Deep. I was kind of like, am I not? If I'm not, who is?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what is your problem? Why do you want to dispute it? Are you? I asked this guy. He's like, no, what did he say? I think it's a little, what word did he use? I don't know, egotistical, narcissistic. I don't know what, some critique of my perspective. I was like, dude, it's a podcast. You know, I'm saying it for effect.
Get over it.
So, yeah.
I mean, it kind of goes back to the industry, though, right? We have a marketing problem. Even like the nerds within the industry can't handle how we ourselves like to market ourselves. It's like, don't sweat the small stuff, dude.
This is how it works. Yeah, that's how you get people's attention, by being a little provocative. I remember when we built the building in Santa Monica, it was a Living Building Challenge. It was, to me, one of the world's greenest buildings. If there's a conversation about it, this building should be in that conversation. I know there are lots and many examples around the world. And I used to always, especially as we were like really trying to convince the public and city council and a lot of decision makers, like we should really go for this highest tier of sustainability, I kept just referring to it as it's going to be the world's greenest building. And I would get these nerds from the architecture firm or other parts of the city or the city manager's office who were like, is it really the world's greenest building? I was like, well, there's no fucking arbiter of who decides what it is. Like, just go with it. It's a simple way to get people's attention. And ended up like
even when there's data around, like, you know, I think like you hear a lot, who's the greatest basketball player ever? Is it MJ? Is it LeBron? There's fucking stats for everything. Even when everything is measured, people can't agree because you have like the X factor of like the time. What was the league like when Jordan was there versus? It's just like, dude, come on. It's like, what? You're at a happy hour. Like, get a little happier.
Well, I'll go on record and say it's definitely Michael Jordan, and I will also double down on myself being the world's undisputed voice of building decarbonization. So with that, what was your reflections from? Of course, an amazing venue and cool event for lots of reasons. But, you know, in the past, we've had issues with the content or at least the tone of what everyone's talking about. But I think you heard some of my take in the episode I did by myself. I thought there was definitely a shift. But, what do you think?
Well, for those of our fans who are only listening, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. We'll give you a little, high five through the screen.
Yeah, well deserved.
I think we're right. We're way ahead of our time. The stupid ESG industry is finally realizing how stupid they are, and they're pivoting back to actually doing projects that matter and deliver value. It was like this was the best IMN conference I was at because I saw the fewest dumb software companies in the vendor section. So like those guys are all fucking gone. And all the conversations were no longer about how do we collect data? How do we make sure our data is 100% accurate? What are we going to do next year when the data is not precise? And it was like, all right, guys, let's stop talking about ESG. It's not called ESG anymore. Let's just focus on energy projects, water projects, resident like retention projects that actually deliver value, and just double down on that and kind of see where like the political climate goes. But I came out of it so happy, and I was just like, man, this is just one of those moments where,
We were
you're
right.
ahead of the curve.
I'm tired of being. It's like I'm tired of being right. That's going to be the title of the show. I was.
Well, it was good. It was like a good overall. It was good. I think good feeling. I think we're in it. The industry's in a tough spot politically, but we can talk about this more later. But like we're starting to explore some military contracts.
Ooh,
The
nice.
Department of War, who obviously falls under Trump's like anti-renewable climate change is not a real thing. They're just reframing all these renewable projects as resiliency. It's like, and they're going full steam ahead. So it's like, dude, if the Department of War can figure out how to reclassify the projects that they're doing, we can also figure out how to reclassify them.
On a previous episode, on a bit, I talked about how I have this idea where I want to launch a consulting company where I'm like the Bobs from Office Space, and I go to the person or the team that is above the sustainability organization, and I want to audit. I was like, hey, let me come in and let me audit and see what your team's doing. And it's like, I'm gonna sit there, and the meme is, what would you say you do here? Because I think they're the sustainability teams who for years like operated in this weird silo, and they just told everyone around them like, oh, this has to happen, this is in legislation, there's the regulation coming to all these markets, and we have to commit to these third parties because everyone else is like, they were operating inside their organizations with some strength and leverage because they were like the boogeyman's coming if we don't do sustainability. That was like the perspective. And I think
Yeah.
now, rightfully so, these people above the sustainability teams are like, hey, so we've been collecting data for 5, 10 years, and we've been reporting this GRES thing forever, and we pretty much know all the BPS markets, but like now what? And so like, you get these
Yeah.
sustainability people on the panels being like, and this is you and I like doing this nerdy sustainability voice, like, well, now I'm getting a lot of pressure to figure out how do I deploy capital to actually add value. It's like, where the fuck? We don't even do this 10 years ago.
Exactly. Where is this pressure? Oh, but maybe, let's give a little credit maybe to our industry, and maybe the pressure wasn't there. Like nobody above the sustainability team was pressuring them to do anything beyond collect data. And so now like the whole organization sort of mind shift has shifted to where senior leadership is like, all right, we got enough fucking data. Let's go do projects. Let's like drive NOI or whatever the metric is. And so now the sustainability teams are like, reacting to that message. I don't know that that's what, like, I'm not in these organizations, so I don't know, but some sort of macro shift is happening. And I think it's because everybody's scared to put the letters ESG in the public.
Yeah. We've had a few people on who are kind of operate in the recruiting or at least advising on how to like create sustainability teams or maybe have these nimble, decentralized versions of teams. And there's been a couple, I can't remember their names now, but I feel like it's been like 2 or 3 people on the show have been talking about how the sustainability team, the way it was envisioned 5, 10 years ago, just doesn't make any sense anymore. And I think that's true too. Like, let's take them out of the compliance office. Let's take them out of the marketing office and put them into the capital deployment team, the project management groups. And maybe that means we got to hire new talent. Like, we don't need the bean counters anymore. We need people that know how to execute.
Yeah.
I
It'll
would
be
love
an
to see that
interesting
happen.
shift. Yeah. Although what's going to happen to the bean counters? Because they're
They're
not doers.
they're going to be replaced by AI, rightfully so.
I will save that for the AI corner.
Yeah. All right.
We'll count some other kind of bean.
Wait, what we're gonna do stories from the front lines next. So maybe we just blend those two because that's segue. That's segue into I think you had some related content around the comment I just made about jobs being displaced and AI doomers. So let's go to AI Corner next. Take it away.
AI corner. Yeah. So we at Shine, like a lot of solar companies, are trying to figure out how to integrate storage into our projects because the tax credit for storage is around until 2034, but the tax credit for solar is gone. So there's this interesting cost arbitrage that you can do, where if you get, there's a lot of overlap between a storage installation and a solar installation. So if you can take some of the costs from solar and put them into the storage cost bucket and deliver solar for cheaper and deliberately inflate your storage installation costs, well, you get the ITC on storage. And so overall, the numbers work better for the property owner. However, with what we do with multifamily, where we're doing one small solar system per apartment unit, you can't do one battery per apartment unit. It doesn't work. So this is a hot take. We're making the announcement here live. We're developing something that we're calling the energy allocator. So what it's going to allow us to do is put one battery on the side of a multifamily property and allocate the energy from that one battery to 10, 20, however many apartment units there are going to be. It's pretty exciting because we've never dabbled in product development. So this will be the first time.
But that's the battery companies can't do that with you. I guess that's part of what's happening.
Dude, they could, but now we have a patent, so they can. But it's like, again, another instance of the multifamily industry being overlooked because it's so hard to sell into.
Yeah.
It's so much easier for a storage company to just sell to a tenant occupied, single meter building than it is a multifamily owner with fucking 300 meters on the property that nobody pays attention to it.
Fascinating. So what you're doing with the battery and the tax credit, I guess, is that similar to how if you had to replace the roof and you could kind of bundle in the old way, you'd bundle some of the roofing costs into the solar to help get a bigger tax credit?
It's similar, but less illegal, less fraudulent, I should say.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to do that. A lot of people did. And, whatever, I'm not going to knock them. Anytime our customers did that, we told them hey, you guys got to be comfortable with the blowback of this if you get audited, because you weren't supposed to include the roof in the basis of the tax credit. But this is allowed. You can have these cost seg experts verify the breakdown of costs from solar and storage and make sure that the right things are being included in the storage calculation so that you're driving ITC basis on the biggest number possible and installing solar at the cheapest number possible and ultimately optimizing financial return for owners. So we're super excited about it. This is going to be the Shine 2.0 business model until 2034.
Wow.
But
exciting.
AI Corner is how do we even figure out if this is a good idea? If this is going to work from an electronic standpoint, right? Because we have apartments all across the US. Some are gas and electric. Some are all electric. You have solar that produces different amounts of electricity in different states. You have apartment units that consume different amounts of electricity in different states, and depending on if it's gas and electric versus electric. And so our big question that we were trying to solve was, how are we going to model how much solar and how much storage should we install on an average apartment unit in each state, depending on how much solar is going to be produced, how much energy is going to be consumed to minimize exportation to the grid. Because usually the second you export energy, you lose either all of the value of it or half or most of it. So the name of the game is developing a system to minimize exportation.
To use it or put it in the battery.
Exactly. Use it, put it in the battery, use it later, but don't send it to the grid. Mm-hmm. And so, at first I was thinking about, man, I could hire an energy engineer and figure all this stuff out. And I was like, well, let me just see what happens if I talk to ChatGPT. Dude, figured out the whole thing. It would pull different data sets. It pulled, because I was like, how are we going to come up with what's called the 8760 for solar production? So how much solar is being produced per hour over 365 days? How are we going to do that
What is
Like,
8760? Is that how many hours are in a year or something?
yeah, 24 hours a day times 365 is 8760. So how are we going to calculate the 8760 of solar production um, in every state? And it was like, oh, I'll just like write some code to pull that from PV Watts, which is like it's like a governmental website that will estimate solar production in any zip code, any state. And it was like, well, how are we gonna estimate the 8760 of the consumption of apartment units? So how much energy is being consumed every hour across an average apartment unit in every state? And it's like, oh, we just found this NREL database. We could just overlay the NREL data on top of PV Watts. It's like, dude, this would have taken me so either I would have had to pay somebody to do this, I would have had to do it. I would have had to have someone on my team do it. It probably would have been like 40 to 160 hours of
This is
crunching numbers, crunching
something
data sets.
Google would have hired. We would have hired Arup and Rocky Mountain Institute, some of the smartest building science engineers in the world, to like figure this out. That's what we would have
Yeah.
done 5 years ago.
And ChatGPT just did it in fucking 10 minutes. Like, it's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. And I'm just like,
So what's the take?
the take is we're right with our
The AI,
assumptions.
the AI doomers are right that you're taking jobs. That all the jobs are going to be gone.
So I think it's like a different, I think there's multiple takes. I think white collar jobs are for sure going to go away. Like,
Come on, not all, I
for
mean
sure.
some, but maybe more will be created.
I didn't
Right?
say all. I didn't say all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like
Some
analytical roles are going to go away.
white collar jobs will go away. Some,
Yeah.
maybe
A
many,
lot. A lot.
but maybe many more will be created.
Yeah. I think so. Look, I think it's pretty easy to predict the job loss. Like, I think that is a for sure thing. I think what new opportunities are created are just more unknown. So it's like it's harder to connect those two dots and figure out like if over the long run are we going to end up at the same supply demand curve. I think the other thing too is just like how incredible this technology is and how we should not be slowing it down.
Yeah, so true.
Like it is so valuable and so impressive.
Did I send you that post? Did I talk about the J Cal? He posted on Twitter about this company. Man, I forget who they are now. They using AI created this system where it's a retainer you put in your mouth, and you can control a mouse. You control a mouse with your tongue, and it's like it's like mind blowing, groundbreaking for people with disabilities that no longer can use their limbs, had spinal injuries.
Oh,
And like these people, this commercial J Cal tweeted was like how some of these folks are like crying, them and their family members crying like I didn't think I had any way left to interact with the world, and now I can. I think it's called like augmented maybe or something like that.
dude, that's wild.
And it was like a reminder to me. It's like it's so short-sighted for everyone out there to be like, I'm shutting down data centers because they're ruining the planet, and I don't like them, and Elon Musk makes them, and Jeff Bezos makes them, so I don't like them. And like, yeah, look at what you're depriving people of is of this innovation that could change people's lives who need it
Yeah.
would and
Yeah.
are would hate you if you're the one who says like, wait, I just had this life-changing moment. Now I can operate a computer and talk to my loved ones with my retainer, and that's happening in a data center somewhere because it's incredible technology that's allowing this to happen. And the doomers want to shut it down because they just don't like the rich people and the big companies. Well, I mean, I know there is NIMBYism that's real. You know, I don't live next to a data center, so I understand there are challenges. But this like blanket statement that a lot of people have of we got to end data centers now, like it's just nuts.
Yeah, it's nuts. And it's nuts because like you need the infrastructure, you need the compute, you need the memory, you need like the data centers, you need all this stuff before you can even figure out what's possible. So it's like kneecapping the industry now at this stage before it even unlocks all this stuff that it could is, I don't know, man, it's so short-sighted.
I mean, can you imagine if we try to avoid politics, but like this administration has embraced AI and tech and crypto and innovation and tried to keep the government out of it and try to stop these states from having 50 different rules because that would kneecap the industry. Like if the other side had won, the AI would be shut down in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. yeah, we try not to be political, but it's like one side. Well, honestly, now it's like seems like both sides are starting to jump on the bandwagon and be like, let's slow down data centers. And I get it.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
not.
we're going into the midterms. It's a popular topic on both sides to shut down data centers.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think we,
Um.
like you said, like we said before, there's a branding opportunity that's not. Oh yeah, here it is. It's called Augmental. That's the thing that J Cal tweeted. It's really amazing to watch this video. So yeah, where are we gonna end here? Let's wrap up. On the data center front, I was gonna ask you, maybe this should be an ongoing bit where I have these LinkedIn posts that I draft, and I'm like, that might be a little too offensive to some people. Maybe I don't post that one. I've been like telling myself like on some of these. Typically, you know me, I like to just like lob a grenade into the ecosystem and see what happens. But maybe I'll do a segment where I tell you about one that's sitting in my drafts, and you tell me whether or not we should post it.
I'll tell you if it's a good idea or a bad idea.
Yeah, all right. So
I
let's do
like
this
this.
one
What are we
here.
calling this bit? I like this one.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll come up with a name. We'll brand it later. So I have it sitting right now where I would post. I'm going to create the lead certification for data center construction, and so I have this graphic. It's like I'm launching the green certification for data, and my post starts with, "I'm tired of all the hand wringing and whining about data centers, so I developed a platform because I think we need guidance to bring the industry together on common language so that we can solve this issue." And then two lines below, I just say, "Just kidding. When this happens, it's going to be super lame." The reason I'm like, a lot of people, and then I was going to post like instead of less talk, more action, it's going to be less certification frameworks, more action. And the reason I'm like hesitant is because I've seen some good things come out of Living Building Challenge and LEED certification, but you just know there's multiple groups working right now on some new framework that they're gonna like try to hamstring the data center industry with. Like, well, from this point forward, Meta is now committed to do whatever data center certification, and it's just gonna be virtue signaling and a waste of everyone's time.
I agree with everything you said, but I also think a green certification for data centers is kind of a genius idea. Like it's
Well, like I said,
exactly what the whole it's
I
like what
know
the
I
whole
know
green
20
building thing is
nerds.
about.
I know 20 nerds who are working on this right now. That's why I'm gonna beat them to the punch with a joke, making fun of it.
It's just yeah. I mean, honestly, I think you should post it. I don't think it's that offensive. I think you've had way worse.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good to know. All
I think
right. Well,
that's pretty team.
this is a good segment.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do this weekly. Let's checking Joel's LinkedIn drafts to see if they're too spicy.
yeah. I'll be your content editor, your barometer
No,
of whether or
knowing
not
the
you're gonna
less talk,
offend
more
people.
action mindset, though, it should just be fire away. Say it. Who cares?
I like it. I like it. I think it's got some legitimacy behind it, and I also think it just calls out like how fucking stupid the green building certification programs are. Like,
Yeah, and part of it's like, look, I know there might be some value in even in doing that, and like even like joking about common language and guidance, and that's why lead certification has had the success it's had in the green building world. But it's just like, hey, everyone, instead of creating some new framework that's going to be create now have this whole army of consultants sprout up to support how you get the best certification. It's like, why don't you just try to work for one of the companies that's like trying to create energy efficiency in data centers or create new materials for data centers to be built out of, or somehow involve nature on the roof of data centers so they're impacted. Like, there's lots of ways you can try to help this industry that's not another framework.
yeah, and I think like when are we going to learn that you can't slow down technology? Like it's going to get adopted. So why not get on the side of like, okay, this is going to be adopted. How can I help make it like as good as possible? Maybe not perfect, rather than like I'm just going to do everything I can to complain about it and try and like delay it or prevent it from happening. I think it's
Yeah.
just it's such a stupid mentality because you're never going to stop it. Like this is going to the moon.
And then again, you go back to this story we just talked about where you're preventing potentially game-changing technology that's going to improve people's lives, and like we have no idea what solutions are around the corner. So maybe you should think about that before you just want to shut down the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe you'll be the guy that needs the retainer with the mouthpiece in a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure Elon's got the neural watt thing that's going in people's brains, and how that's helping solve so many.
Oh man, can we do one more bit?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
Go,
all
go.
right. You asked me editorial advice. I'm going to ask you retirement account advice. Have you seen the nosedive that the SpaceX has taken since going public?
Oh, of course. I've bought the dip.
You bought the dip, dude.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence of rolling my entire 401k into SpaceX.
You know,
Risky or a great move?
now you're asking me on in public airwaves to give you financial advice. You could probably
Yeah.
sue me for this later.
Yeah,
I'm
not
not.
everyone, our
But
whole audience is going to take your financial advice too.
I'm super bullish. I'll just say, I bought the dip. I think the sky's the limit for that company, and whatever they potentially do with Tesla in the future, it's just going to be nuts.
All right, so it sounds like you're telling me to go ahead and
And well, did you listen to All In this week?
yeah, I
Where,
mean
where they talked about how about how Sachs broke down this ship? It's called Starship, and it's allowing
Starship,
them,
yeah.
yeah, to launch this Gen 3 satellites, and how they've proven it works, and how these Gen 3 satellites are going to be game changing for the speed
Yeah. And that's just
Starlink.
Starlink.
Just
That's not
Starlink.
even all the other stuff going on.
Yeah, and now JCal talks about like how Starlink's going to be in every Tesla, and then there's going to be robo taxis, Teslas all over the place. They're pushing Wi-Fi everywhere. It's like the
Dude,
opportunities are
so
nuts. What SpaceX is going to do?
nuts. And I will occasionally read these articles about like Delta just did this. Delta turned down SpaceX and they opted for some like way worse competitor for Wi-Fi on their planes because the Delta CEO wanted customers to like go through the Delta app to get to Wi-Fi instead of go through the SpaceX portal. I'm like, well, Delta's going downhill. I heard the same thing. I think it was either Apple or Verizon. Like Elon gave one of them the opportunity to use Starlink on their phones. I think it was Verizon. And now on Verizon, you get that, if you ever don't have service, you get that stupid message that's like, point your phone at a satellite and let's see if you can send a text message. And it never works. And I'm like, these people keep blowing it. Like Elon's going to launch his own cell phone and just annihilate everybody.
Well, JCal keeps talking about how they might buy T-Mobile
Or that. Yeah,
for
yeah.
that
Or an
exact reason.
acquisition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, okay. A new segment on the show, finance corner or investment corner. But yeah, I love that it's dipped. I love that it's lower. I'm doing as much as I can to add to my portfolio.
yeah, yeah. Well, all right. I appreciate the financial advice, and we'll see how this turns out.
Well, let's wrap it up on that. We usually end with what gives you hope for the future. Our hope for the future is that we add more SpaceX to our portfolios and it goes to the moon. And there's a lot of hope for that future to be realized. We're
100%.
rooting for you, Elon. All right. Well, Owen,
Fanboys.
thanks for joining as always. Anything to plug? Get Shine, new website. Anything? What's it called? The Energy Allocator. What we're gonna learn? Is there
Well,
gonna be a
dude, I
press
could have
release?
talked. Yeah, no, we're not that kind. I don't give a shit about attention like that. We're just gonna go crush sales.
Okay,
But
good.
we are launching a new website, which was also like 90% done with AI. So I see some of our competitors, I'm not gonna call out who, doing big fucking LinkedIn pushes about check out our new website. We're so proud of it. I'm like, dude, I talked to ChatGPT. Took that script and I gave it to Lovable. It gave me in like 3 hours. I got a kick-ass website, and I'm gonna have a human kind of put a little finishing tweak on it, but.
Human in the loop. There you go.
Moving on a loop. Yep. But yeah, new website's coming soon.
Yeah, and just a word of advice out there for anyone who's creating LinkedIn content. I'm not the LinkedIn expert, but I know a little. Nobody's clicking on, hey, check out our new website. People click on things that add value to them. So they're like, why would someone go click on your website? Just get a clue. That's not how it works. All
I
right.
can't
Well,
wait to post our new website on LinkedIn and see your comments.
please do. Yeah. Like, I told you this is lame. No one's gonna click on it. Well, thank you to our guests for joining. You can find Owen and I on LinkedIn, usually actively antagonizing the more talk, more complaining sustainability nerds. You can find this podcast and more great content at letstalkmoreaction.com. You know what? I'm gonna stop doing the last part. If you like the podcast, please subscribe. Like no one cares. I'm just gonna end up. You can find this podcast and more great content at letstalkmoreaction.com. Right? And
Yeah,
ask
yeah, I think that's
but
better.
and then we say until next time though, we do encourage you to ask yourself, what are you doing to take action to make the world a better place?